Our union was founded in 1935. It was a time of great upheaval as rampant industrialization was resulting in poor treatment of workers. It was also a time of great population shifts. Many migrated to the north to look for jobs in factories, and immigrants came to our shores looking for opportunity. Though these workers came from different backgrounds and even spoke different languages, they all had one thing in common. They wanted better wages and working conditions so they could provide for their families and live with dignity. Through that common ground, workers started organizing and solidarity spread. In the same year as our founding, the National Labor Relations Act, also known as the Wagner Act, was signed into law. The Wagner Act encouraged labor peace and labor management cooperation. Before the law, walkouts and wildcat strikes were rampant in American workplaces, as workers were fighting back against mistreatment and poor working conditions. The Wagner Act also guaranteed workers the right to form and join unions, and hundreds of thousands started exercising their rights. Many companies fought back, often using violent and illegal tactics. Despite company opposition, brave working people banded together and fought tenaciously at General Motors in the Flint sit-down strike, the Battle of the Overpass at Ford Motor Company, and countless other work sites where working people were denied basic rights in the workplace. Working people understood that by standing together, they were stronger and could improve their work lives. Workers from every sector formed unions with the UAW and started winning never-before-seen gains at the bargaining table. Despite the equalizing effect of collective bargaining, it was also clear to our union that racism and sexism were pervasive in the thoughts and acts of many. Our union has always been in the forefront on the fight for true equality and civil rights. UAW President Walter Reuther took the issue head-on and was widely criticized for his views, but he would counter that we had a moral obligation to fight for everybody's dignity. The UAW has been involved in civil rights struggles since the beginning, including walking side by side with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. during the civil rights period. The UAW supported the civil rights struggles led by Cesar Chavez and fought apartheid in South Africa, helping to free Nelson Mandela, and supported Lech Wałęsa and Solidarity in Poland. Social justice was never a buzzword with the UAW. It was in our DNA from the start. We're more than a union of auto workers. Our members include casino workers and those in the public sector. They're in healthcare and higher education and a host of other workplaces because all workers deserve dignity and a fair shot at a middle-class life. In the last 3 decades, we've been on the front lines, battling for affordable healthcare, secure retirements, quality education, voting rights, and worker health and safety for all workers, union and non-union. Being a full and active part of our union begins with an understanding of the basics of our union. A great place to start is to read our Constitution, which is available online at uaw.org. In it, you'll learn much about the structure and democracy of our union. You'll also see our core values woven throughout the document, that our union stands for building and maintaining high standards in contracts, that we are all equal, regardless of religion, race, age, gender, or sexual orientation, that we fight for everyone, not just ourselves, that a victory for the union is a victory for workers everywhere, as well as our families and communities, and that everything we gain at the bargaining table is at risk if we do not engage in the legislative and political process. So what exactly does being UAW mean today? We are the United Automobile, Aerospace, and Agricultural Implement Workers of America. We are one of the largest and most diverse unions in North America, with members in virtually every sector of the economy, such as automotive, aerospace, agricultural implement, gaming, healthcare, higher education, parts suppliers, government and courts, and heavy truck and bus, and much more. We have over 400,000 active members and about 543,000 retired members across the USA, Canada, and Puerto Rico. Our UAW Constitution sets forth a democratic structure where members are the highest authority. The local union is made up of members who join together to negotiate pay, benefits, and work conditions with their employer, and so much more. There are 5 important elements to maintaining a strong and vibrant local union. They are Executive Board, Bargaining Committee, Grievance Handlers, Convention Delegates, and Standing Committees. You elect your local union executive board, which administers the local union's programs and finances. The executive board consists of president, vice presidents, recording secretary, financial secretary or treasurer, 3 trustees, a guide, and a sergeant-at-arms. You elect your bargaining or shop committee, which negotiates a collective bargaining agreement with your employer. Grievance handlers are sometimes referred to as stewards or committee persons. They are the first level of representation in the workplace and may settle disputes in initial steps of the grievance procedure in your collective bargaining agreement. Members serving on local union standing committees can be either elected or appointed. Standing committees provide an excellent opportunity for you to get involved in your union. Article 44 of the UAW Constitution requires local unions to establish 10 standing committees, all of which have specific goals and focused areas of action. The local union can also form other committees as it deems necessary, which are determined by your local union bylaws. The 10 mandated standing committees in our UAW Constitution are the Constitution and Bylaws Committee, which along with the UAW Constitution sets the rules for how the local union will operate. Union Label is responsible for emphasizing the importance of supporting union-made goods and services. Education is tasked with offering educational resources, including facilitating workshops for the members of their local union. Conservation and Recreation coordinates leisure time activities to foster solidarity among members and focuses on environmental concerns. Community Services is a vital resource put in place in case members face strikes, layoffs, plant closings, or natural disasters. Civil and Human Rights serves as the guardian of the UAW's no discrimination policy and assures members full rights regardless of religion, race, creed, color, sex, political affiliation, national origin, age, disability, marital status, sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. The Citizenship and Legislative Committee, also known as CAP, is the political legislative arm of the local union and the vital workplace political activator. Consumer Affairs monitors the social conscience and performance of companies to ensure members consume safe and honest products and services. Veterans represents the interests of all active and retired UAW veterans and their families. Women's informs all union members about women's and family issues and encourages UAW women to become engaged in the work of their local union. Convention delegates are elected by local union members to represent them at the Constitutional Convention, which is held every 4 years. The number of delegates from each local is based on the size of the membership. The International Executive Board, also known as the IEB, is comprised of 5 officers and 8 regional directors. The officers include the International President, Secretary-Treasurer, and 3 Vice Presidents. IEB members are elected to 4-year terms. The IEB administers the International Union and directs international staff representatives to help local unions and members with collective bargaining, organizing, political action, education, legal questions, health and safety, and other issues. International staff are appointed by the International President. They bring a wide variety of skills, expertise, and experience to their assignments, which could be in the regions or national departments. International departments and councils are structured based on the UAW's bargaining relationships with employers, industries, or work sectors. Officers direct one or more of the 10 national collective bargaining departments assigned to them by the international president. There are 8 regions in the UAW, each led by a regional director. The regional directors enforce the union's policies and programs at the regional level and help local unions handle their daily activities. Regions bring the resources and support of the international union closer to members at the local union level, such as servicing, negotiating, education through summer and fall schools, conferences, and advisory councils. The International includes numerous technical departments that support organizing, bargaining, and contract enforcement. They include health and safety, education, research, community action program, social security, legal, and legislative affairs. UAW members also have a family education center, lovingly known as Black Lake, where members and their families can participate in union-related training, learning, and recreation programs. The work of our union from the local to the international are all supported by member dues. From bargaining contracts to enforcing them through the grievance procedure, union dues provide the resources used by locals every day. Article 16 is set by delegates to UAW constitutional conventions. A portion of your dues are rebated back to the local union. This is used to support member representation and education, as well as fund the many activities of the local within their community. The international UAW pay for membership education, communication, and organizing. UAW's legal, social security, research, and health and safety departments provide expert assistance to help negotiate and enforce collective bargaining agreements. The remaining portion goes to the Strike and Defense Fund, putting employers on notice that UAW members have the resources to strike, if necessary, to win important bargaining demands. It is proven again and again that being prepared to strike can be the most effective way to avoid a strike. That's why most UAW contract settlements do not involve strikes. UAW dues are not used to contribute to campaigns. Federal and many state election laws prohibit unions from contributing members' dues money to political candidates. The only money that can be used for contributions to candidates is money members voluntarily contribute to VCAP, the UAW's political action program. VCAP stands for Voluntary Community Action Program. Protecting our collective bargaining gains through political action should be a priority of every UAW member. This is because there is a direct relationship between the bread box and the ballot box, and what the union fights for and wins at the bargaining table can be taken away in the legislative halls. Our contributions to UAW VCAP are used to support the campaigns of pro-working family candidates who have earned the endorsement of the UAW Community Action Program. Talk to your local union leadership to find out how you can support your union through VCAP. The best way to stay informed about what's going on in your local union is to attend union meetings. This is where you can find out what's happening with your local standing committees, workplace issues, information pertaining to contract negotiations, upcoming educational conferences, the local's finances, and much more. Our union is more powerful when every member participates and makes full use of their union membership. To find out more about what other opportunities are available to you as a UAW member, you can visit uaw.org and, more importantly, attend your union meetings.